The morning finally broke, but Rin slept peacefully, curled up in a ball wrapped in the fur blanket I had jocked and fetched for her in the night. I felt a content peacefulness in my heart that I had never known, not in all of my centuries of being on this earth. I also knew that I did not deserve to feel this way, after all of the evil I'd done in my life. Somehow, though, Rin looked past my faults, and she loved me unconditionally. She saw good in me I never saw in myself. As I began to venture out of the cave to have Jock and fetch Rin something to eat, I stopped in my tracks due to a familiar scent. The scent was Kohaku's. In a rarity, I was startled. I did not expect him to be bold enough to come and seek me, but I was impressed by his bravery. I saw signs of his bravery when he was just a boy, following me in hopes that I would destroy Naraku. He was helpful when it came to protecting Rin back then, so I tolerated his presence. I continued on towards the outside, and from a distance I could see him leaned up against a tree while Jockin frantically ran in circles. "You foolish brat, you must return to your human village at once. My lord will see you when he's ready. Now shoo, before you get us both killed." Jockin froze mid-sentence, slowly turning around to face me. "Oh, my lord, I'm sorry." Jockin bowed before me. "I will get rid of this pest at once." I stared at Jockin in a menacing look, but inside I was amused by his frantic antics. "Jockin, check on Rin. Make sure she doesn't come out until he's gone," I dryly commanded. Jockin leapt up in the air. "Yes, Lord Sesshomaru, right away!" He was gone in an instant, leaving me alone with the young demon slayer. Kohaku still stood against the tree, arms crossed, with an expression I could not read. He seemed peaceful, but there was also an anger in his eyes. "Kohaku, thank you for saving me a trip," I stated. He turned his head to look at me, uncrossing his arms. "Sesshomaru, how nice to see you're already controlling her," he sarcastically spat. "Yesterday, Jockin informed me you'd be coming to visit, but I already had a feeling I would be seeing you soon beforehand." His peaceful look began to fade, and all I could see was anger, which in turn irritated me. "Despite my hopes, I knew you wouldn't stay away from her for long." Kohaku angrily pushed himself off of the tree, causing me to put my guard up. I wanted so badly to think that the man I admired as a young kid was who I thought he was, but you're truly nothing but a selfish demon. Why couldn't you control yourself? You just had to interfere. Why did you interfere? Kohaku inched towards me, causing me to instinctively wrap my hand around his neck, pushing him back up against the tree. "Wrong move," I growled as I squeezed my hand tighter. Just as I was deciding my next move, I heard her voice, and I dropped him instantly. "Lord Sesshomaru! Kohaku!" Rin ran over to us in a panic, and once she reached Kohaku, she bent down to help him up. "Are you okay, Kohaku?" He nodded while holding his neck. Rin turned her attention to me as she stood up, giving me a disappointed glare. "How could you? He was our companion, and he is my friend." "You made the first move, Rin. I feel no regret and won't be questioned for defending myself in a battle." I did not feel regret, and it wasn't for not wanting to hurt Rin. I would have done much worse. I could only be truthful with her and hope she respected this from me. She rolled her eyes at my response, but quickly turned her anger towards Kohaku. "Is this true? What are you even doing here, and why would you try to attack him?" Kohaku looked away, embarrassed. "This is between us two men, Rin. Please let us continue our conversation." "Kohaku, do not patronize me. I don't appreciate it," she demanded, placing her hands on her hips. Kohaku looked down at his feet. "I am sorry, Rin, but this has to be between just me and Sesshomaru, please. I won't cause any trouble this time, I promise." Rin nodded her head, seeming to understand that it was important we both talked alone. "Okay, but no trouble from either of you." She looked at me with saddened eyes and grabbed my hand. Just a simple but public gesture threatened to cause me to break all composure. She would always be such a great weakness for me, but I would gladly risk it all to have her by my side. I kept my unchanged face in a scowl, but averted my eyes to her. "Lord Sesshomaru, please do not hurt him." Her request bothered me, and I so badly wanted her to not care at all what happened to him. "Lord Sesshomaru, he has protected and taken care of me when I was alone in the village. with no one to turn to," she pleaded. I looked away from her, not responding, but she knew I would obey her request. She squeezed my hand in her and Jockin walked back towards the cave, and I waited until they were gone to continue our conversation. Once they were, I locked eyes with Kohaku again. "Do you love her?" I questioned. His cheeks became red, but he nodded. "I love her deeply, and I could protect her, Lord Sesshomaru. If you left her to me, I could eventually heal her wounded heart and give her a life that you have already told her you do not want. Popping in and out will only hurt her and stop her from moving on. Who are you to say what I want or do not want? This is between Ren and I. She is no longer a concern of yours. If there is something Ren wants, all she has to do is ask. I will give her anything she desires in life." My voice was calm and steady, but I seemed to upset him further. "Wait, so you changed your mind? How ridiculous, Sesshomaru. You and I both know you cannot give her the life of an ordinary woman, not one that she deserves. And she is an ordinary woman, in case you've forgotten. She isn't, nor will she ever be a demon like you." I felt a snarl in my throat. "Watch it, Kohaku. I am only keeping my hands off of you to honor Ren's wishes." Kohaku half smiled. "You know, I admired you in so many ways all those years ago. All I wanted was to be as powerful as you when I was growing up. Eventually, as I traveled with you, I began to care for Ren. So I stopped admiring you then. I began to question you and why you were putting this young girl in harm's way. I convinced myself it was because she had no place to go and you just wanted to protect her. And while that may be true, I now know that part of it was just pure selfishness on your part. After you dropped her off to live with Kaede, I was happy that you finally did the right thing, and I put my negative thoughts about you aside. Then, after years of friendship while Ren lived with Kaede, I eventually fell in love with her. My love for her is greater than any lust for power, and I just want her happiness. I want her to have children and grow old with someone. I want someone to show her love and affection without holding back. Ren cannot have all of these things with you. No matter how powerful you are, you can't change any of it. You can't change that you're not a human, and she is not a demon. You can't love like a human, or even the way Inuyasha can, because he is part human." I looked away from him and towards the cave Ren and Jockin were in. "Don't underestimate me, Kohaku, or compare me to my weakling half-brother. I can give her a happy life, one with children too, if that is what she desires. At the very least, I know I am the only one who can protect her. If she chose another path, though, I would not stop her. It has always been up to her. From the very beginning, I have never forced her to be at my side." Kohaku scoffed. "It wasn't up to her when you rejected and left her, was it? I was the one protecting her all of these months. I can protect her just as you can, Lord Sesshomaru." My face scrunched up in anger. "No, you can't, you fool! I thought you could. I thought you could do a decent job, and I let you go with her. And I let her go, knowing your feelings for her. I wanted to do what was best for her. I believed you to protect her while I stayed in the background. I have always known of your pathetic crush, so I put faith in you to protect her. I was wrong." I snarled with anger. Kohaku looked confused. "What are you talking about?" I again locked eyes with him. "I found Ren yesterday in the forest being attacked by a villager. She was naked, and he was about to rape her, Kohaku, until I killed him." Kohaku's eyes widened. "You're lying." "I would never lie about such a thing," I snapped. Kohaku's eyes quickly watered. "Who was it, Sesshomaru?" Ren informed me that his name was Daku. I barely said his name above a whisper. Kohaku turned his back to me. "I did fail. I knew he was going to be trouble. I just never thought he'd go that far. I thought he as well had a pathetic crush," he said in a solemn tone. "That should have never happened, and I'll never forgive myself. But I am not going away so easily because of one mistake. Just like you said, it is her choice in the end. and her choice can always change. As Kohaku began to walk away, I issued one last warning. Kohaku, should you cross a line with her, I will kill you. No matter what Rin says, I will not let past friendship stop me from protecting her. Kohaku kept walking, and I turned around, making my way back to Rin.